Hey, what's up you guys? You're watching Team APS. I'm with Alec, and today we're going to be giving you the top 10 best generic, or at least our favorite, generic Pendulum monsters. It was a hard video to do, actually, because there aren't that many generic Pendulum monsters.
And you can get a few, but it's kind of hard to find ones that are worthy of you mentioning.
Yeah, so we really found pretty much the 10, so...
Yeah, you're not going to get a better list than this, so...
Alright, let's hop right into this.
Alright, I'm going to start off with number 10, Focall's Cannon.
This is an early one, wasn't it?
Very early. It was like one of the first three, period.
I know people use it in the vanilla Pendulum deck.
I mean, at the early times of Pendulums, you can put him in any Pendulum deck because he was a 2 scale, which means he was low, which is good. Now you need a high scale to go with him. But one thing, the reason why he made this list is because he had the effect of popping a face-up spell card or a spell or trap card.
So it was a face-up spell or trap card.
Yeah, face-up spell or trap card
at the end of the turn.
At the end of the turn, which isn't even that great. But for early Pendulums, I mean, he had an effect and he let you Pendulum summon. So that's why he made number 10 on our list.
Yeah, at the time I feel like it wasn't not a bad thing. Alright, number 9 is Magical Abductor. Probably another one that you may or may not really even remember.
She came out in the Dual Science, huh?
No, a bit later.
Later?
I don't know exactly which set.
It was cool.
But she has a cool effect where, like, you know, whenever you use a spell card, she gets a spell counter, and you can remove X amount of spell counters and, like, add a Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. So really cool, just kind of slow.
But the beauty of it was potentially it could be faster than a Pendulum deck. Like
could potentially. But then with Ignite, she wouldn't actually be able to use its effect though, because you know,
unless you had the field spell, then you can do it. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's like because Ignite just used Royal Magical Library. I guess.
Yeah,
it was better.
Go for the OTK.
So that was the hard part about using her, but theoretically she was good, and she's based off of Magical Exemplar, which is an older card that actually wasn't awful either, but just kind of overshadowed.
You know, she has her purpose in like the the Magician, what it called, the older spellcaster deck.
Oh yeah, those.
Yeah. I don't know how she helps them, but she's a spell counter, so she must do something for them.
All right.
I got number 8, Samurai Cavalry of Reptier.
Yeah, this is one of the dinosaurs.
I think this was the first one of those they were like a sneak peek card.
Yeah.
It was like the first one is really kind of useful. It is a catastrophe effect against non-pendulums. So if your opponent is behind in times, you can get rid of anything they play.
Yeah. If it's not a pendulum, it just automatically destroys it. But that's only if it attacks it.
Yeah, you can't.
I initially thought it was like both ways. Like if you attacked it with a non-pendulum, it's still. But that would be really crazy. And I was like, wow, this card's nutty. And then I read it again. I was like, okay, it's
not nearly as.
It's just useful, but not. Yeah.
But still, a really solid card for a lot of different situations. I could see it being in someone's side deck.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's also really cheap, and like you got it if you went to Sneak Peek, so no reason not to use it if you're newer and you need something easy. Number 7 is Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon.
Oh god.
So it's kind of the quintessential. Well, I mean, like you know, it's a character protagonist card. I don't so much know that it's great, but you know, early on it was.
Yeah, the problem with Odd Eyes was it's slow, and it's always going to be its problem. But for a lot of early Pendulum decks, they didn't have any way of searching the other Pendulums. So
yeah, it was an early way of searching stuff. Wasn't it? It's during the end phase.
During the end phase, it has to be 1500 attack or lower.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's really like restricted.
I see why that's not as popular. But, you know, it has its own decks, and probably when you use it in its own decks, it's really good, so there's that.
But, man, this list is made without taking your own archetype in consideration.
Yeah. We tried to keep these, like, relatively on their own.
How it helps other Pendulum decks. That's why it's where it is.
Alright, so, yeah, that was number 7. What is number 6?
Number 6, we got Rescue Hamster.
Yeah, also an early one.
And he's a really solid little combo piece. Can't get him too early though, or he's completely dead.
Yeah, that's the big problem with him. Both of his effects are really good. I think the monster effect is basically the one where, like, if you got the level 5 or higher monster face up in your extra deck, then you tribute him and you can, like, get back to level 4 lower ones or something along those lines. And then at the Pendulum effect,
Essence had the same name as the one you had in your extra deck, so it has to be the same monster, I think.
I don't actually know. All I know is I've seen it pop up in like deck lists recently. I remember reading it early on. I was like, this is a really good card. Then I was like, it's actually an okay card.
I mean, it's a rescue card.
But unlike the other rescue cards, it's not like play and profit. Like Rescue Cat and Rescue Rabbit
those are
just
all
like
basically just free.
They play, they ran, and like you got pluses. You know, it has to set itself up a little bit.
I like it for Draco Slayers because they now set up the extra deck for you.
Yeah, they're fast.
You know, you get the spell card, and now your Rescue Hamster's live.
Yeah,
just like that.
And then you like Luster Pendulum blowing things up. So it's really good in those decks. The next one is Vector Pendulum, the Drake Overlord. It's funny because really as a Pendulum monster he doesn't do much. He just negates your opponent's Pendulum monsters.
With a decent attack set of 1850 at that.
Yeah, and he has the 0 defense, so he still works with like Mass Chameleon and all those things that are popular, or kind of were, not maybe as much now, popular in that deck. He just negates your opponent's Pendulum monsters effects. And that's really useful. I mean, because especially nowadays with some of the, like all the stuff we've mentioned on this list, and other Pendulum monsters having like these effects where when they're in the zone they get this and that and pluses and things happen. So it's an easy way to just kind of deal with that. It's not too expensive either, I don't think.
I wouldn't think it is.
So, yeah.
Number 4, Majespecter Kirin. It had to make the list merely because there's not a single Pendulum card on our list that does as much as it does first turn. It gives your opponent a world of trouble if it comes out early, and even if you can bring it out late, it's still not easy to get rid of. Mainly because it removes.
Yeah, it's the most annoying sort of mini lock card because like once it's like kind of there, it's tough to get rid of because then like they can just keep like bouncing your stuff and then like resetting that. It's like 2015, 2016 Grand Mole type of lock, except a lot more annoying and a lot sort of easier to do, and it like works with all your other stuff too. And
it reminds me of like, I feel like they based Omega off him, cause like Omega he did the same thing. Omega, if they try and get rid of it, you can banish card out their hand and banish him.
Oh yeah, it's similar to that. Like there's a lot of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh now too.
It's not that bad on your turn. It's that it will come back next turn for your opponent, and it's like what 2100.
Yeah, Kirin's pretty big. It's not like 3000 or 21. So
it's not weak. So
next card is Archfiend Eccentric.
Yeah.
It's number 3, and it's cool because it's actually like a level 3 fiend, but that has nothing to do with why it's really useful.
Yeah, I don't think anyone even cares that that's an Archfiend or.
It's got a really good dual purpose that really makes good use of the Pendulum.
It's really unique
mechanic.
In that way.
Because like you put in your Pendulum Zone, you can pop a Scarlet Trap. And then every time you Pendulum Summon it back, it's Exile Force every single time.
You don't necessarily even need to Pendulum Summon. You can just normal summon it and get that Exile Force. And
it still starts the cycle. And like it's really annoying for, say if you're using an older deck and you're facing this type of card, it's like, what do you do? Because it just keeps popping up, popping a monster, and then like,
She's great for baiting out stuff. Because your opponent, unless they want to lose their monster, has to respond to it.
Yeah, they have to do something, and it's kind of hard to do something, so.
And you do it for free every turn.
The recursion, it's not as popular now, but I'm glad it's getting reprinted next week, so.
Yeah, it was because it's only printed secret, so.
Yeah, and it was expensive for kind of no reason, even if people didn't play it that much.
Yeah, I mean, I'll always play it, it's a solid card.
Alright.
So that was 3, so we're at number 2, we're at Guiding Ariadne.
I actually don't know if that's how you say it. I have no idea how you say that.
Maybe don't pronounce that. Maybe it's Ariadne. Or maybe you don't pronounce the D. It's
Guiding Ariana Grande. All I know is it's a good card.
It's pretty solid.
It's in a lot of deck lists.
Well, yeah, that's because it searches your counter traps. And then it removes the cost.
Yeah, it's really good.
Like once you say it, when you say it, you're like, oh man, this card's really like.
It's pretty janky because like on its own, it's not necessarily stupid. Like when it's in the Pendulum Zone, you can use your counter taps really easily, and that's great. It's the fact that when it dies, you just get to search one, and there's like Luster Pendulum and stuff, blowing Ariadne up, and then she gets the effect.
And he searches a new one. It's about what you run with her, not necessarily her herself. She's
things.
A really solid card, and if put a nice little deck around her, and you'll give any opponent some trouble.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and it's pretty techable as well. Yeah, 3 solemn strikes. Right. So usually, what is this? You just run like 3 solemn strike and 1 warning, and then poof, live.
Yeah, she's live.
So kind of annoying card, but good card. So
she's like she's you know, I think it's interesting how she came out, then Rafflesia came out, and they're just both really annoying.
Just good, like annoying cards. Like your traps are live now, so.
You don't even need to have your traps live. Like,
yeah, you have to have them. We'll just hand them to you on a platter. And number 1, you could probably guess it.
We didn't say it yet, so there's only one real choice.
Number 1 is at 1, and that's Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer. Surprise!
I mean, there's too many reasons.
And that's the video. Subscribe. No. I mean, yeah, Luster Pendulum's really good.
Yeah. Let's just say Ignister Prominence.
Yeah. It's stupid.
I'm gonna say 2 things. Pepe, Ignister Prominence.
Yeah, and like it's good in like pretty much any Pendulum deck. Because it pops the other one. And
I mean, he's just
sets up your extra deck. It's a tuner.
Just by running him, you can even run you could run the other little Draco Slayer extra deck monster.
The Xyz Paladin.
You can run the Xyz, you can run the Fusion, and you can run the Synchro. You don't necessarily want to run them all, but you could.
The Synchro's
all for that one card because he pendulums, you can bring him back, and
they have the little Draco spell that does the thing with whatever.
Oh yeah, the one that you.
Another hated card.
Yeah, you know, you gives you a ruler and a Slayer.
Yeah, it's annoying. So, yeah, that's at number 1. I'm sure you know why. So
you know.
I need to explain. Those are our 10 sort of favorite, sort of best, really only.
At this point, I wouldn't even say it's our favorites because we kind of just picked the best ones in the game.
Yeah.
So let's just call it our 10 best.
Yeah, we avoided archetypes, so we might do our favorite Pendulum archetypes video soon. If you want to see it, get the video to 250 likes.
5,000.
Yeah. And we
barely get that many views.
Yeah. So that was the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.